I want to give you guys a quick panorama. I'm back again for another installment here in Mexico. It's nice and sunny. Things are looking good. The weather is sweet. Your brother, your friend, your dietitian. I want to come at you guys live from Mexico. I want to talk about something briefly today. How to become a vegetarian. Now, there's a million reasons why people want to become vegetarian, but first I want to just define vegetarian. Vegetarian is someone that, in terms of diet, they have certain rules. So that means that they don't eat meat or flesh of any living animals. So that means you're not eating chicken, beef, fish, things like that. Then there's different levels of vegetarianism. You can get to lacto-ovo, where you eat lactose, you eat eggs, but you eat dairy and eggs, but you don't eat the meat. Or you can do ovo vegetarian, or you can just be straight vegan. So ovo vegetarian is basically eating some eggs, and then straight vegan is I just don't eat any animal byproducts, period. But right now we're just be talking about just vegetarian in general. So I'm gonna cover a couple things in this video about how to become a vegetarian. One, make sure you have good reasons as to why you want to become vegetarian. Now, the first question you want to ask yourself when you're dealing with vegetarianism is, why do I want to be a vegetarian? Now, there's 1,000 good reasons why someone would want to be vegetarian. There's 1,000 reasons why someone would want to be vegetarian that may not be quote-unquote good reasons. I think it should be a solid reason. That's the first step you should take. So some people want to be vegetarian because they want to impress somebody. Personally, I don't think that's a good reason. I think that vegetarianism, if you want to take that route, it should be an internal thing that's going on, an internal development, and it should be very genuine. So as long as it's internal, it's coming from within you, your reasons are not because you want to impress somebody, because you want to lose some type of weight quick, or you're trying to do something that's just come and go fast, then I think vegetarianism is an excellent solution. One other thing that I recommend when you're dealing with vegetarianism, how to become vegetarian, you want to do lots of research. So you want to find out what's the benefits of being vegetarian. Culturally, what are some cultural dishes? So you want to do research on your dishes, cultural dishes in your community and your culture that are vegetarian. If you live in a metropolitan area where you have a lot of different cultures, you may want to say, hey, I want to try out vegetarian food from other cultures, so let me research that. So you want to get different cookbooks. You want to get different recipe books. So you want to equip yourself with knowledge of the different options of being vegetarian. Because a lot of people think, vegetarian, man, they're just eating green salads and biting into stalks of kale, which is delicious. It's actually good for you. But biting into stalks of apio. I'm over here thinking in Spanish. I can't think because I'm in Mexico. I can't think of what the name of it in English. Apio is the celery. I'm over here biting into celery, carrots, cauliflower. No, there's a lot of seasoning that could be utilized. There's a lot of fresh foods that could be utilized. A lot of cooked foods that could be utilized that can make the food delicious. So the dish is delicious. So change your idea of what it is to be vegetarian, or expand your idea. Look into different foods that you can get. One cool cookbook out there is called Afro Vegan. It's a soul food cookbook, and it shows how you can take soul food recipes and make them vegetarian vegan. Now, another thing you can do is look at your old mom's cookbooks, your grandmother's cookbooks, and realize, hey, I could change these up and make them vegetarian. Go slow. Now, I say go slow because a lot of times we want to just jump into something and go radical with it. Now, shout out to Ralph Smart. Check out Ralph Smart's page, Infinite Waters, Diving Deep. Ralph Smart, he talks about radical action. Radical action means start now, start today. Do something to get the body moving. Do something to get the energy in motion. So I agree with that. But I do want to say that in addition to the radical action, you have to realize that your body has been accustomed and adjusted to eating meat. So if you jump off the deep end, you may have trouble coping with not eating meat. So take it slow. Every week, have a vegetarian meal for one of your meals. Then increase it to 2 meals. Then increase it to 3 meals, and only eating meat on the weekends. And then keep decreasing until eventually you're not eating all meat meals. You see what I'm saying? So that's how I recommend doing that. It's talking about going slow. I remember I was vegetarian for 1 whole year. But before I became vegetarian, what I did was I knocked things off. So going slow, you want to pick certain things, like starting off with red meat. Nobody really should be eating red meat. There's too many studies showing that eating that causes health issues. Now, some people say, oh, you can eat it in moderation. Look, red meat is not good for the human body. It's not good for your health. You should just not. There's too many studies, too many doctors will tell you that. Exercise physiologists, scientists will tell you that. I'm a dietitian, I'll tell you that. Start off with red meat. That's what I did. Pork, red meat, I cut that out. Enjoy your chicken, enjoy your fish, enjoy your turkey. Then eventually cut out the chicken or the fish or your turkey. Pick one of those. And you break it down and break it down and break it down until eventually you cut out all the meats. That's the process of going slow, right? That's a secret. After being vegetarian for a whole year, I actually was a pescatarian before that for like a year. So it took me a long time to actually transition. But it was because my family environment was really promoting the pescatarian diet. So we ate a lot of the fish and lots of veggies and lots of fruits. But it was good because it's not just about vegetarianism. I want to make clear, it's not just about cutting out meats. You have to incorporate more steamed vegetables, highly, tasty seasoned vegetables into your repertoire. So what that means is, it's not only about, hey, I got to cut back on meats. I got to slowly incorporate more vegetables, slowly incorporate more smoothies, more juices, more freshly squeezed juices, more water, more vegetables into my diet, more salads. So every time you eat, you should see more greenery, more rainbow colored foods, more vegetables on your plate, more whole grains, right? And that took me a while, but after that year of being vegetarian, after being pescatarian, I did well because I had already incorporated so many more vegetables, so many more fruits, and so many more legumes into my diet that it was like, man, I'm eating an abundance of these healthy foods. I'm feeling lighter. I'm feeling like I have more energy. You see what I'm saying? And then you feel lighter, you feel like you have more energy, and then when it's time to switch off and cut off the fish, finally, you're good because you've been doing it for so long, you've been eating so many healthy foods, it's like, yo, I can do this. But I did go back after a year, and I tried to eat all the foods all the meats that I had loved, because it wasn't a religious decision for me when I first did it. It was because I wanted to feel healthier, and it wasn't because I cared about animal rights or things like that. It was because I wanted to feel healthier. So I said, hey, let me go back and try some of these meats. So I tried fried chicken, which was one of my favorites, rib tips, which was one of my favorites, fried chicken, rib tips, salmon, which I loved, and something else, fried chicken, orange chicken. So I tried all those, but my palate had changed. So they didn't even really appeal to me, really. Like, I didn't even really like them like that. Technically they were good, but my body was just accustomed to not eating them, so I just stayed vegetarian. All right, so that's a part of the process. Another thing I would recommend is also just thinking ahead. So that means, like, if you know you're going to a party, tell them that you're vegetarian. If you know you're going out, make sure they have vegetarian options at the restaurant. If you're going to a party, pack some vegetarian food. You see what I'm saying? Pack some vegetarian food. That way, you'll be straight because you're covered. So prepare yourself. Stay prepared. And build a support system. Get family, friends around you. Get an environment where they'll help you out. Now, getting support from your family and friends just consists of what? That consists of you letting people know, hey, this is my lifestyle. Don't be afraid to live your principles, live your values. So live your values, and if you're around people who don't support you, try and get away from them. And if you're living with your family, I'm not saying move out the house or break up with your girl if she ain't supporting you or whatever, but try and put yourself in an environment where they're very supportive of your lifestyle and what you want to do. That's going to help you achieve. Another thing is, think in an abundance mind state, meaning know I'm not eating a scarcity of food. I'm not getting enough protein. I'm actually getting an abundance of protein from all the legumes, beans, and foods I'm eating. Getting an abundance of nutrients, and there's so many more vegetables and fruits, legumes, and beans that are available, and grains, than just the 5 meats that I've been eating my whole life. And remember, most foods aren't just meats. If you try and name off 20 different types of meats, you'll have trouble unless you're a meat connoisseur, you're a butcher or something. If I ask you to name off 20 different vegetables or 15 vegetables, you can start naming them off. So there's a lot of abundance, a lot of variety. And don't forget that when you get into vegetarianism, realize, hey, I got 1,000 different types of legumes. I got hundreds of different types of legumes and beans. There's so many different types of rice, so many varieties of grains. There's so many types of veggies I can try, so many different recipes and spices I can use. I'm not restraining myself. I'm actually adding to my repertoire. I'm going to be eating abundantly. So that's another thing to consider when you get into vegetarian. Be cool. Be easy. Don't be judgmental. You know what I mean? People are going to judge you, but you just stay calm. Another thing about not having not tripping out about people judging you is don't judge other people. Don't be high and mighty because I don't eat meat. I am better than you and I am more spiritual than you. I want to say something. Spirituality can make you become vegetarian, but becoming vegetarian doesn't make you spiritual. So becoming more spiritual can make you become vegetarian, cause one to become vegetarian, but becoming vegetarian doesn't necessarily make you more spiritual. There's people who are spiritual who eat meat, that are more spiritual, more kind, more humble, have more virtues, have more character, who have worked on themselves. So don't jump to the conclusion that just because you ain't eating or you're not eating meats that you're more spiritual. Now I will say this: abstaining from meat, from the flesh of dead animals, will help you on your spiritual path. But the spirituality and spiritual work comes from within you. You can't just eat vegetarianism, be vegetarian, and you think all of a sudden I'm going to just become a master guru, a master spiritual, all that. Nah, you have to put in work. So if you eat vegetarian, you don't put in any work of character, it doesn't mean you're better than anybody. It just means you're vegetarian. We're all one. I hope that some of these tips that I've thrown out there have been helpful for you to become vegetarian. I've been vegetarian for some years now. I've been in situations where I had to eat meat because I've been in, third world countries and they didn't have any access to food, vegetables that I needed, and I had to eat some meat. But overall, when I'm stable and set, I've been vegetarian for years now. It's amazing, feel lighter, lots of energy, you know what I mean? It's excellent. So look into vegetarianism. Set your environment, be prepared. Just be around people who support you. Realize that it's not about being better or worse than anybody else. Have good reasons. Do your research. Go slow, right? Do a lot of reading and studying about vegetarianism. Get some books and cookbooks on vegetarian recipes. Look at old recipes that you could possibly transform into vegetarian recipes. Eat from cultural foods. Eat from different cultural foods, right? Because they have a lot of vegetarian options. Be creative. Think in abundant terms. Don't think of scarcity, because remember, there's only about 10 meats that you could name off, but there's hundreds of vegetables you can name off. Peace and love. Your brother, your friend, your dietitian coming at you again for another installment. Give yourself permission to live your dream. Peace.